So aspirin is not the only pain reliever that you can get on the shelf. Acetaminophen, Tylenol, and ibuprofen are both very common. So we're going to just talk about those three. I know that there's more out there. You've got your leaves and other types of medicines, but we're going to stick with those three right now. So let's talk a little bit about acetaminophen and about ibuprofen. All right, so the second pain reliever that we want to talk about is acetaminophen. Tylenol is the one that we're looking at. Now, this is an analgesic. Okay, do you remember what that means? Analgesic is a pain reliever, and it's also an antipyretic, which means fever reducer. What is it not? So aspirin has that anti-inflammatory agent. Acetaminophen does not. So it'll help with pain, it'll help with fevers, but it's not going to help with swelling. So something to keep in mind. Now, if we look at the chemical structure of acetaminophen, it's based on a class of compounds called p-aminophenols. I know it sounds like a really scary word, but let's break it down. Phenol means that we have this six-member group, and it has an OH attached to it. Now, the P stands for para. It means that it's on the opposite side. Now, would I expect you to know what p-aminophenol means? Not completely, but it's cool to see how that name came about. So on the opposite side of the ring from the OH, you have this amino group, and aminos have nitrogen in it. Now, the nitrogen can cause some liver damage and some kidney damage. So you have to be careful about how much you take because it can damage your liver or your kidneys. So over on the right on the bottom, we have some different analgesics, so some different pain relievers that are based on this p-aminophenol structure. So they all have the basic same structure. Let's see here on all of these. This part is exactly the same, but we can change the side group that's on it. So the very bottom, that's our Tylenol. Tylenol, first developed 1893. The one right above this, this one was phenacetin. It was actually banned back in 1983 due to kidney damage and also some blood disorder issues that it had. So it's amazing to see how you just change the structure just a little bit and you'll have a completely different compound with all new properties associated with it. Ibuprofen is the third pain reliever that we want to talk about. This one is a pain reliever. Okay, so what's the term for pain reliever? It is an analgesic. It deals with inflammation, so it's a anti-inflammatory, and it can reduce fever, so it's called a antipyretic. It does all three. Advil and Motrin are your common brand names for ibuprofen, and it's very similar to aspirin in that it interferes with the formation of prostaglandins. Now, this was first developed back in the 1960s, in the early 1960s, by a guy named Stuart Adams of the UK, and he was trying to find an alternative to aspirin for relieving arthritis issues. It was originally only obtained by prescriptions until 1984. So after 1984, you could buy it off the shelf. But before that, you had to have a prescription. Acetaminophen is an analgesic. True or false? Oh, now for this one, you have to know what acetaminophen is, and you have to know what analgesic means. Acetaminophen is Tylenol, and analgesic means a pain reliever. So your answer is true. Tylenol is a pain reliever. It is a widely obtained pain reliever over the counter at this point in time. So true. Let's see how well you've been listening. Aspirin is another name for salicin, salicylic acid, acetylsalicylic acid, or acetaminophen. Ooh, they're tongue twisters up there. But the one that you're looking for, aspirin, is acetylsalicylic acid. Acetylsalicylic. Go ahead, say it with me. Acetylsalicylic.